Asterisk the sky hung low and bruised, smeared with ash-colored clouds and the smoke of distant fields still burning from last week's fire. The wind blew dry across the rail tracks, carrying the sharp scent of coal, scorched leather, and something. Unspoken, the train hissed its last breath. Iron wheels stopped turning. Dust rose like a ghost. From the last boxcar, a child stepped down. Thin, too still, no luggage, no shoes. Just a limp doll tied to her wrist by twine and a torn strip of muslin for a dress. Asterisk she stood beside the track, her eyes wide under a matted curtain of hair, staring at the town like it might swallow her. Whole? Asterisk a woman followed, 20, maybe bones sharp under skin too pale. Her right cheek darkened with an old bruise, lips cracked. She carried a bundle, a threadbare blanket knotted tight with something inside, maybe clothes, maybe just pride. They didn't belong here, and everyone could feel it. Asterisk in frontier. Town, Main Street. Moments later, asterisk the saloon doors creaked. Horses snorted under the weight of men too mean to speak softly. One tipped his hat in mock courtesy as the girl passed. She flinched, asterisk little late to be beggin', ain't it? Asterisk she didn't answer. Just looked up, her voice came out like wind through a splintered wall. Sir it hurts when I sit, asterisk the man blinked. Blinked again, and walked away, asterisk zid. The next, and the next, until they were alone, the woman took her hand. Come on, Lena, just for a few nights. Asterisk they disappeared into the saloon's back door. No one stopped them. Ixt, schoolhouse next morning, early light asterisk Jack. Merrick bent low, scrubbing the steps with boiling water and lye soap. His hands were red from it, not just the cold. He wasn't janitor by choice, but when a man's got a boy to raise and no one left to help, pride becomes a luxury. He glanced toward town. Then again, asterisk that girl, the barefoot one, was sitting by the barrel out back, knees drawn in, picking at a bruise on her shin. Asterisk, hey there, he said, voice gravel thick. You lost? She didn't answer. He walked back inside. Came out with half a biscuit, leftover stew, wrapped in a handkerchief. Asterisk, here, asterisk she didn't move. Her eyes darted to the street. Asterisk, you got a name? She took the bundle, nodded. Lena. Asterisk the porch behind her creaked. Her mother was there, eyes rimmed with tired makeup, blouse too thin for winter. Asterisk, don't take handouts, she muttered. We're fine. Jack watched as she pulled the girl away, fingers digging a little too tight into the thin shoulder, but Lena looked back, asterisk, and he saw it, just for a moment, the look kids get when they know adults don't care, not even the ones who are supposed to. Asterisk, in Tick's cabin nightfall, the fire cracked. Jack sat across from his boy. Caleb, both of them hunched over a game of checkers with half the pieces missing. Snow began to tick against the window. Asterisk, you gonna let me win this time? Caleb grinned. Asterisk Jack chuckled. You want me to lie? Asterisk he moved a piece. Caleb groaned. They were about to reset when a knock came. Asterisk not a real knock. A tap. Asterisk Jack rose, slow. He opened the door just a crack. There she was, Lena, asterisk no coat. No shoes, bleeding from one knee. She held the empty handkerchief he'd given her earlier like a flag of surrender. Jack stepped aside. Come in, he said. In cabin, later asterisk she sat on the floor by the fire, too stiff to relax. Caleb handed her his extra socks. She didn't put them on. Asterisk, where's your mama? Jack asked gently. Lena stared at the flames. Man came, she said she'd be back. That was all? Jack wrapped her knee in clean linen. She didn't flinch. Until he asked, asterisk, Lena, did someone hurt you? Asterisk silence. Then a whisper, asterisk it hurts. When I sit. He swallowed hard. The wind howled outside. The fire popped. Asterisk Jack stood quietly. He stepped outside, stared toward town. Toward the saloon. Toward the lights that never seemed to go out. He didn't go that night. But something in him shifted. Like a bone healing crooked after too long set wrong. In cabin, dawn asterisk, a horse whinnied outside. Jack rose with the rifle in his hand. He opened the door slow. Asterisk Lena's mother stood there, shivering, soaked, mascara running from her eyes. Asterisk. I can't take her back. She looked at Jack, shaking. He'll come for her. He says he owns her now. That she owes him the whiskey, the bed, everything. Jack's jaw clenched. The woman stepped forward, kissed her daughter's forehead. Asterisk. I tried to get out. I really did. Jack stared. Please. Just for a little while. Keep her safe. Asterisk, and then she was gone, swallowed by the mist, the sound of hooves echoing behind her. It hissed. Town Hall. That evening. Asterisk. Sheriff Turner leaned against the porch, watching as Jack walked through the muddy street with a box of supplies from the grocer. Asterisk. Awful late to be stocking up. Jack didn't stop. You talkin' in strays now, Merrick? Asterisk. Jack paused. Looked up. His voice came low. Just doing what no one else would. Asterisk. The sheriff smirked. That so? Jack met his eyes. Something flickered there, not rage, but something colder. The kind of quiet that came before storms. Asterisk. You tell Thad Doyle he comes near my land, Jack said. He won't walk away. He walked on. The sheriff said nothing, but the wind blew harder that night. Asterisk. Into Cabin night. Asterisk. Lena was asleep beside Caleb on the cot, their hands touching. Asterisk. Jack sat by the window, shotgun across his lap, lantern low. Asterisk. He could hear it. Now, something ancient. The sound of the fire talking to the walls. The whisper of his wife's voice from the night she died. Asterisk. Don't let this world take our boy. He didn't sleep, because some nights, when the wind shifts just right, a man can feel it. The wolves are coming. Asterisk. Snow blanketed the pines like silence made visible. Crows circled overhead, low and restless. Jack's breath puffed in clouds as he chopped through frozen wood, fingers stiff in split gloves. He hadn't eaten since the night before. Asterisk. From the cabin window, Lena watched him. She didn't blink. Inside, Caleb curled under two quilts, still asleep, his breath steady. Jack glanced back once, hand pressed to his bleeding palm. He whispered to the trees, Just hold a little longer. Into general store, town, midday. Asterisk. The bell above the door chimed. Silence fell like a blade. Asterisk. Jack stepped in, snow on his coat, boots worn thin. He placed a few coins on the counter. Enough for coffee, bread, salt pork. Not enough for bullets. Asterisk. The clerk slid the items forward. Anything else? Asterisk. Jack hesitated. Medicine. Asterisk. For what? Asterisk. Child's bruising, fever, maybe. Asterisk. The man's eyes narrowed. Asterisk. Sheriff says you're harboring someone shouldn't be. Says you should mind your own and leave town problems to town folk. Jack didn't respond, but when he turned to leave, his knuckles were white around the sack. Asterisk. Outside, the wind cut sharp, and someone followed him home. Asterisk. Ixed. Jack's cabin, night. Asterisk. The storm came with no warning. Not thunder, not lightning. Just a wall of snow that swallowed the sky. Asterisk. Jack barred the door. He stoked the fire with the last of the kindling. Caleb coughed in his sleep. Asterisk. Lena sat cross-legged, watching a shadow flicker across the wall. Asterisk. Is it true, she asked, voice brittle, that wolves wait for the weak? Jack didn't answer at first. Then, asterisk. No, wolves wait for the ones. No one watches. Asterisk. She turned toward him. That's worse. He didn't argue. Ixed. Ridge Trail. Next morning, with the storm easing, Jack left at dawn. He carried the old map in his pocket, the one his wife once marked before she died. He followed a trail few remembered, up past dead trees and frozen creek beds. Asterisk. At the edge of a burned-out grove, he saw it, a bundle of sage hanging from a tree branch. Swaying like a warning, he went farther. At the base of a split cedar, smoke curled from the chimney of a buried dwelling. Half earth, half ash, a woman stepped out. Nessa. Asterisk. Gray streaked her braids. Her skin was leathery from sun and wind, eyes ageless, one iris clouded white. She wore elk hide and silence like armor. She looked at him for a long time, then nodded. Nessa's hut. Later. Asterisk. Jack sat before a fire in the stone ring. Steam rose from a bowl of bitter roots. Asterisk. She's not talking much. Jack said. Nessa stirred the broth. She draws. Asterisk, Jack blinked. Yes, horses, birds. Asterisk, she remembers pain, Nessa said, but not with words, with pictures. A silence stretched. You helped me once, Jack said, after the fire. After, asterisk, your wife called to me in dream. I followed smoke. Jack looked down. She's dead too now, he said. Lena's mother, they said it was drink or a fall. But it was him, Doyle. Asterisk, Nessa's hands didn't stop stirring. He'll come, asterisk, Jack nodded. I know. Nessa reached under a cloth and brought out something wrapped in hide, an old hand drum. A child's. She pressed it into his hands. She will need to sing, even if the song is made of tears. Is at Jack's cabin that evening, asterisk, Lena sat by the window, drawing again. Charcoal on scrap paper, asterisk, Jack stepped inside. He carried the drum. She looked up, confused. I met someone, he said. A friend from before. She didn't speak. He crouched beside her, unwrapped the drum, asterisk. She said you could have this. If you want. Lena touched it, then pulled her hand back. Jack nodded, asterisk. You don't have to make noise with it, he said softly. Sometimes just holding something is enough. Asterisk, that night, she slept with it clutched to her chest. Montasha, the following days, asterisk. Caleb showing Lena how to skip rocks across a frozen pond, Lena gently pressing snow to Jack's burned palm after chopping wood, asterisk, all three watching deer cross a ridge at dusk, silent, Jack reading aloud by firelight. Lena drawing while he reads, asterisk, one morning, Caleb gave her his last peppermint. She didn't take it, so he ate half, then handed the rest to her, asterisk, she smiled. Just a little, asterisk, and Jack's heart broke again, this time not from pain, but from some strange feeling he hadn't let himself feel in years. Hope. In cabin, late-night wind screamed. The lantern flickered, asterisk, Jack sat alone, studying the map again. The path out, over the pass, toward Nessa's people. Maybe safety. He felt it before he heard it. A footstep outside. Then another. He rose, silent. Pulled Caleb's cot behind the door. Pressed Lena down behind the stove, asterisk. Don't make a sound. The door creaked. A man's voice outside. Asterisk. Jack? I know you're in there. Jack didn't answer. You took something. A man's property. She's got debt. Her mama drank on credit, and someone has to pay. Jack's voice came low, like thunder before lightning. She's not yours. Asterisk outside, bootsteps receded, but the message was clear. It had begun. In cabin, dawn, asterisk, Jack opened the trapdoor beneath the floorboards. Dust rose, old jars, blankets, his wife's scarf. He looked at Lena. If they come back, you crawl in here. You don't come out till I say. Lena stared at him, then reached into her pocket and handed him something, a folded paper, a drawing. It was crude, but unmistakable. A girl curled beneath a porch. A man's hand reaching. Her eyes round with terror. She had drawn her own nightmare. Jack folded it. Slow, then opened the rifle case. Ixt, ridge. That evening Jack stood beside Nessa, overlooking the valley. Snow fell, slow, silent. They'll come in the dark, he said. Nessa nodded. You'll need more than bullets. Asterisk, Jack didn't move. I know, asterisk. Do you believe in spirits, Jack? Asterisk, he turned toward her. I believe in scars. And those stay long after the wound is gone. She placed a hand on his shoulder, then fight like someone who's tired of bleeding. He looked down the ridge, toward the town, toward the fire he knew was coming. End of chapter 2. The moon cut through the clouds like a blade. Smoke rose faintly from chimneys, but out past the town the wind moved different, sharper, almost sentient. Asterisk, Jack stood by the stable, saddling his horse with a trembling hand. His shoulder was bandaged. The wound from the earlier skirmish hadn't healed right. But he didn't flinch. Asterisk, inside the cabin, Caleb was asleep. Lena wasn't. She stood at the window, clutching the drum. Watching him, asterisk. Are you leaving? She asked. Jack paused. No. He turned. I'm going to make sure no one else does. Ixt, ridge past dawn, asterisk. 6 riders emerged from the morning fog, coats heavy with frost, rifle slung, eyes dead. Thad Doyle rode at the front, grinning beneath a whiskey-stained mustache. Asterisk beside him, Sheriff Turner, hat low, hand always near his holster. They reached Jack's cabin, found it empty. Asterisk, just the flicker of firelight inside. In 10. Cabin same time. Asterisk, beneath the floorboards. Lena held her breath. The drum clutched tight. Caleb beside her, eyes wide. Above, boots pounded. A voice. He ain't here. Asterisk another. They're hidin', ain't stupid. Asterisk gun butts crashed in the walls. A chair toppled. A glass broke. Asterisk Lena whimpered. Just once, the trapdoor began to creak open, then stopped. Asterisk a whistle. Echoed outside, sharp, clear, like a bird call, then silence. Asterisk a challenge. Ixed tree line. Moments later, asterisk Jack stood beside an old cedar. His rifle loaded. His coat dusted with snow. Thad Doyle stepped out first. You're macking this hard, Merrick. Jack didn't move. She's mine by law. Ain't nothin' says a man can't collect what he's owed. Asterisk Jack's voice came like gravel. Dragged across iron. Asterisk she's not property, she's a child. The sheriff stepped beside Thad. You're interfering in town affairs, Jack. We're here to collect. Jack raised the rifle. You can collect my body first. A beat, then chaos. Gunfire erupts, the woods exploded, muzzle flashes. Snow churned. Jack dropped to one knee, fired twice. One man fell screaming. Another stumbled back, blood painting the white. Jack ran, toward the church ruins, toward the trap. Asterisk ixed, OLD. Church, moments later. Asterisk the structure stood blackened and skeletal, burned in the fire that took Jack's wife. Asterisk Nessa waited inside, eyes closed, fingers wrapped around a string of carved bone charms. Asterisk when Jack burst through. She didn't flinch. They're coming, he gasped. I know, asterisk she. Lit a line of powder drawn in a circle. The earth flared. Asterisk smoke rose like breath from the dead. Showdown. Asterisk. The men stormed the ruins, but the smoke blinded them. Jack struck from the shadows. Asterisk a gun cracked. A scream, a collapse, then silence. Thad Doyle emerged, limping. Face cut. Gun empty. Asterisk Jack stood before him, blood dripping from his temple. They stared, then Doyle rushed him. Fists, not bullets. Rage, not justice. They brawled in the ashes, teeth cracked. Bone snapped. Jack hit the ground hard. Doyle knelt over him, choking the breath from his throat, until a high, sharp cry broke through. Stop! Lena stood at the edge of the firelight, barefoot, holding her drum. Asterisk behind her. The town, dozens of them, men, women, even Sheriff Turner, watching. She took one step forward, then another, and without speaking, she raised her sleeve. Asterisk showed the bruises. The crowd murmured. One woman gasped. Asterisk Caleb stepped beside her, clutched her hand. Asterisk, she's my sister now, he said, voice loud and clear. Asterisk Jack, coughing, rose to one knee. Asterisk Sheriff Turner looked at the crowd, looked at Doyle. Asterisk then slowly holstered his weapon. Asterisk, you brought this on yourself, Thad. Asterisk Doyle spat, you cowards, she's trash. No one moved. Then Nessa stepped from the shadows, eyes glowing. Asterisk, she is ours now. Ixed. Ridge. Days later, they buried Lena's mother under the cedar. Lena placed the doll, now clean, restitched on the grave. Jack said nothing. He didn't have to. In Tabin, weeks later, sunlight spilled through the window. Lena sat at the table beside Caleb, painting a horse, but this time it ran free. Asterisk Jack stepped in from outside, dusted snow from his coat. She looked up, smiled. Asterisk, I can sit now, she whispered. Jack froze, then nodded, and walked over to stoke the fire. Asterisk final scene. Dusk wide shot. Jack's cabin silhouetted against the golden sky. Smoke curls from the chimney. Asterisk. The wind carries distant laughter, then stillness. A world changed. Asterisk because one man refused to look away. CTA, end of video message. Asterisk greater than, there are wounds the world doesn't see, bruises hidden beneath polite smiles and empty streets. But sometimes all it takes is one person to say, no more. Asterisk, if this story moved you, share your thoughts. Below. If you've ever needed someone to see you, or if you were the one who stood up, let your story be known. Asterisk, and always remember, even in the coldest silence, a whisper can shake the world.